First up, well, China has punished over 8,000 people for corruption. This after government revealed multiple problems on how the government's 2016 budget was spent. Head of the National Audit Office announced the infringements, which was discovered during a broad anti-graft campaign in China that was aimed at rooting out deep-seated corruption in the ruling Communist Party. Out of the 8,000 offenders, 970 were punished for misusing funds earmarked for a poverty relief campaign that was intended to lift people in rural areas out of poverty by 2020. Another 1,363 people have been punished for irregularities in the misuse of funds meant to provide affordable housing. Around 505 people have been punished for malpractice involving medical insurance funds. Well, a broad anti-graft campaign in China that is aimed at rooting out deep-seated corruption in the Communist Party has led to almost over 8,000 people getting punished for corruption. Our international correspondent Ramesh Ramachandran now joins us with more information. Well, Ramesh, China's anti-graft campaign continues. What is the latest you can give us?
Well, Nishchita, this is an ongoing campaign against corruption launched especially by the current President Xi Jinping. Remember, in 2013, for instance, the then senior Chinese politician Bo Xilai was convicted and found guilty of corruption and stripped of all his assets and all the positions he held, and he was since sentenced to life in prison. So corruption, or the fight against corruption, is not new in China, but the recent emphasis under President Xi Jinping against corruption has taken a toll. Nearly more than 8,000 people have so far been found guilty of monetary violations or infringements. This according to an audit which the Chinese agency did sometime last year. And the head of the National Audit Office has claimed that these infringements were made by more than 8,123 officials. And this graft campaign will continue against the investigation against 1.3 million more officials. So clearly, China is at least apparently taking corruption seriously and is making efforts to stem the rot, as it were, within the Chinese bureaucracy, especially under President Xi Jinping.
Right, Ramesh, and also in the recent past, internationally, if we do see the number of corruption scandals that have come to light, whether it's in South Korea or in Brazil, we have seen heads of states having to step down because of corruption allegations. For a communist country like China, what is really the impact that we're looking at?
Well, the immediate challenge, Nishchita, for President Xi Jinping is to maintain discipline within the Communist Party of China, which he heads both in his capacity as the president of China and also the general secretary of the party. So Xi Jinping has time and again made and called his party cadres to maintain discipline in the party and follow the party code, especially when it came to corruption. And we know the case of one of his closest aides being appointed the anti-corruption czar, as it were. So Xi Jinping says he is serious about weeding out corruption from within the party apparatus in China and also the official bureaucracy. But that said, the focus is equally on institutions inside China, Nishchita, including banks and other state-owned enterprises, which have been found guilty of malpractices, including in medical insurance funds. So clearly, his emphasis is on both the industry, the government, and also the private sector.
Well, thank you, Ramesh, for joining us with all that information. Well, China's anti-graft campaign there continues, and over 8,000 people already punished.